It is time to welcome in the dean of the Knicks Film School, Jonathan Macri. Jonathan, the Knicks are back in the Eastern Conference Finals, back-to-back years for the first time in over 25 years. They did it in dominant fashion. What stuck out to you in the sweep of the 76ers?
Yeah, I mean, I think this might surprise some people because the offense got most of the headlines. But for me, this was a defense-first series all the way. I personally coming into the series expected it to be a high-scoring series. I think we knew the Knicks were going to be able to put points on the board against the defense that featured Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. What I wasn't sure about, and what a lot of people weren't sure about, is whether they were going to be able to contain Tyrese Maxey. And I think if you look at his regular season numbers versus the numbers that he put up against the Knicks in this series, this was night and day. Not only was his scoring down, his shooting percentage is down, but his assists were down, and he also turned the ball over a lot more than he usually does. I think you could credit certainly Mikal Bridges for doing a wonderful job on him, but also just the entire Knicks team being connected, defending on a string on these key possessions. And for the most part, these games were not close, in large part because of how they contained Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, listen, I knew this Knicks team was different, but I didn't expect them to sweep in this manner. But now, because they had that sweep, they have at least 6 days off before they finish or before they begin the conference finals. A lot of guys are banged up. It's late in the season. How much is that a benefit for the Knicks that they have so much time off?
Well, I think it's a benefit generally at this time of year. You know, everybody's banged up. Nobody's fully healthy. They have some guys in their late 20s, around 30. But the biggest key is going to be for OG Anunoby. And I know Ian had that report earlier today saying he expects him to be fully ready for game one. They're going to need him because the way that the other Eastern Conference semifinals is going, it's looking like it might be the Detroit Pistons. If that's the case, that OG Anunoby is absolutely the #1 guy who they should be able to stick on Cade Cunningham in that next series, at least to start off, and then you adjust from there. But they're going to need to give OG Anunoby as much rest as possible, get that hamstring healed up. And then everybody else, I mean, look, I know there's some concerns that the Knicks are going to lose this mojo. I think they're a veteran team. I think they have answered so many of those sorts of questions already with their performance in the playoffs. I think they're going to hit the ground running, and the rest is going to be a good thing.
Yeah, they're absolutely peaking at the right time. Jonathan, I know the answer, or what I would think the answer is to this based on my age and how long I've seen the Knicks be pretty good. For you, is this the best team you've seen in your lifetime?
Well, the first Knicks team that I ever had the pleasure of rooting for was back in the 1993-94 season, and that was Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley, and that team obviously went to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I'll never forget that ride. Also, 1999 was a magical run. You know, give some credit to the Melo team and some of the recent teams we've seen even here. This is #1. I know they haven't accomplished what some of those other teams have accomplished yet, but as far as how they are playing, as far as how they are, I think, the envy of the entire league in terms of their play style, not only on offense, but on the defensive end as well. I've never seen a Knicks team play basketball at this level before. And, you know, I just had a birthday. I'm not that old to remember 1970 and 1973, but I think you have to go that far back to find a team that played at this level of basketball.
All right, so you mentioned your birthday. We're not going to age you here, but it was your 43rd birthday, and the Knicks were up by 43 at one point. You see that picture there on the screen. What was it like celebrating 43 and the Knicks are up 43?
Well, you know what? It was a great birthday present that I wasn't expecting, but the absolute icing on the cake for me was that when I saw that picture that my wife was kind enough to take, that I saw Joel Embiid's face in the background, and to know that the Knicks sent him home, and that really is the gift that keeps on giving. So, yeah, it was a pretty good present on my day.
Listen, as a New Jersey girl, anytime a Philly or Boston team gets sent home, it's a good day in my book. So I'm sure the New York fans are extra happy with this one. And happy late birthday, Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining us here on How to Sports Night.
All right, what's the Knicks' best asset moving forward in this postseason?
You know, I think there's a lot of answers here, whether it's the talent, whether it's their depth. I'm going to give you the answer that I believe you can't measure, and that's the hunger. Watch the way that this team plays with the intensity, night in, night out, both ends of the floor, snatching the souls of their opponents. That's why they're able to win by 25 or more points, 30 points, whatever it is. They go right for the jugular right from the get-go because they play with great determination. So when you combine that talent and depth that the Knicks have with that hunger and determination, that to me is a separating factor. The Knicks Knicks, when they were first built with Tom Thibodeau that first year to get to the 4 seed, they just outworked everybody. They had no talent. They played harder than everybody else. Now, with Mike Brown and the talent that they have, they're still playing harder than everybody else. They want it more than their opponent. Oh, and when you're more talented than them, that's how you get these drubbings that we've seen now for basically 7 games in a row.